I think what inspired me to get into film started when I was studying photography, and I remember when I was first introduced to photography, and the most powerful sort of emotions I can remember is being able to grab a camera, go out somewhere that was somewhere you'd be every day, whether it be a park or a street, and it's seemingly ordinary, but you can suddenly point this machine at a scene or a person or a moment and see something that you wouldn't normally see. And when you capture it, for me, seeing that relationship between the camera and what's in front of it, and then what appears on the, you know, I would take the neg, I would develop it, print at home in my darkroom, and just being able to see that process through and having something and thinking, wow, that existed, that image existed in this physical space, and it was, I just got addicted to that. My name is Shammasian and I am a director.
My name is Paul Shammasian and I am a director. When I watched The Elephant Man for the first time by David Lynch, I remember the effect it had on me, and it was quite profound. And I remember thinking, this film has changed my morals, has changed my opinion of disability, has forced, well, not forced me, has made me become a better person, has made me question myself, and all that in just 2 hours.
We started directing together professionally in 2005, and when we first came together, there was a real learning curve. You're talking about two different people with different morals, different eyes, sort of set of principles and how we view the world, and just coming together and saying, right, we're going to channel those two into one thing. And yeah, it was a learning experience, because I think you get to discover more about the other person and about how they see it, but it's also about to ensure that that's going to work, you have to build trust in what that person is saying, and sometimes you let go and sometimes you pull back, and it's just about finding that balance, really.
There's two stories in Volatile. On the surface, it's a very simple setup of revenge, and running underneath that is the journey of this character and what the pursuit of revenge does to him emotionally, psychologically, what it does to his personal life, how it impacts his relationship with his fiancée. So it's what starts off as a simple premise quickly unravels into a much more complex story.
Volatile is on Kickstarter. We're trying to raise £250,000 to make this film. The goal will cover pre-production, production and post-production. Essentially, it will enable us and our team to make this film. So the reason why we came on Kickstarter for Volatile is predominantly to keep this as an independent production. And if we just go back slightly, when we made Romans 12:20, which was our first collaboration with Jeff Thompson, we made that with crowdfunding. And it did two things. It gave us the means to make the project, make the short, but also it gave everyone involved, including us and the team, artistic integrity, which was such a positive experience. So when we came to do Volatile, we just basically went full circle. We thought if we could repeat that model and have that kind of artistic integrity with the project, it's just such a positive way to make a film. This crowdfunding is definitely a legitimate way of raising money for films, for the simple fact is people are raising money for films on crowdfunding sites, and it's working, and the fans are having a voice and are saying, yeah, you know what, we want to see this film made, and they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're making these projects happen, where these projects definitely would not happen under traditional financing. So if you think of it like that, it is definitely a legitimate way, and it's been growing and it's only going to grow more, and I think it's just a wonderful thing. In fact, I would probably say, crowdfunding could be the savior of independent filmmaking, the way the industry is going. So I support it on all levels, big directors using it and new directors using it. I think it's the best thing for the industry. So we are now at the halfway point, or just past the halfway point on our raise, and whether we're going to make it or not is now going to be very dependent on how quickly we can snowball this whole campaign and how we can reach out to new backers and new fans and people who can engage. I mean, when we started the campaign, we found a group of backers very quickly, which was just an incredible moment for us, and we're so appreciative. So we know there's people out there, and you know, a relatively large group of people out there who are willing to back it and see something special in the project. So we feel that if they exist, we're hoping that there's more people who can complete this project and make it happen. So it's really dependent on whether we can go and find those people and use social media and film networks and just expand that reach. I mean, obviously the dream here is to make the film, is to start a career in features, and this for us is we're right at the beginning of that. And what makes it quite special for us is that the journey didn't just start when we launched the campaign. It started many years ago. So for us to be here now and getting support, it just means everything to us. And if we hit our goal, what we hope to do is make a really good film.
A top tip that helped us was we looked at other campaigns and we saw what they did, and I think specifically we saw how much information and how much work had gone into that campaign. So once you see that, you kind of set that as your standard and as your blueprint, especially the ones that had been successful, and then you look at that and say, wow, that's the amount of work that I need to put into my campaign. So I think one of my biggest tips would be look at the campaigns that have succeeded and really pay attention to the amount of work that has gone into that campaign.